the University of Haripur.
Assalamualaikum student. It's a continuation of our lecture Partition of Bengal 1905. We will discuss about the subsequent political development of Partition of Bengal. The Partition of Bengal led to strikes, countrywide protest and boycott of British import. It is very important to discuss that the Hindu community, not only the Hindus of Bengal or the West Bengal, the Hindu community of the subcontinent started boycotting British products, their imports, and they started street riots, strikes, and unrest throughout the country against the partition of Bengal. I mean against the decision of Lord Curzon and British India. So the strikes and the boycott lasted until 1911, when the British annulled the partition of Bengal and it became a one province again in 1911. This was although about 1905 partition of Bengal, but it saw the seed of communalism within India, within the Muslims and within the Hindu community. All the three communities, the Hindus, the British and the Muslim, considered the partition of Bengal as per their own socio-political and religious understanding and aspects. The Muslims considered it as blessing, where the British partitioned the Bengal due to administrative reasons and overpopulation and multiple problems at administrative level, and it was very difficult for a single governor to govern such a large province, while the Hindus understood and considered this partition on religious ground. They started spreading the propaganda that the British is applying divide and rule policy, and it was truth that the British was applying divide and rule policy. Sometimes the British policies facilitated the Muslim community, the Hindus started protest, and sometime the British government gave much more privileges to Hindu community, and both the communities starting advocating their own socio-political rights on religious grounds, and it devastated the unity of Hindu-Muslim unity. So the reaction from Hindu community was not limited to the strikes. There were national movements started like Swadeshi movement, and the important leaders were Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Bipin Chandra Lal, Aurobindo Ghosh and Lala Lajpat Rai. They were the extremists, and they replaced the moderate and progressive leaders of All Indian National Congress. As I told you in my previous lecture, that when the Congress was formed, it was formed by liberal, open-minded, educated leaders under the guidance of A.O. Hume. But after some time, extremist Hindu people, extremist Hindu members got their influence, and extremist ideas penetrated within the ideologies of Indian National Congress. Or Indian National Congress became extremist party. So these extremists started political movement, Swadeshi movement throughout the country. So all these political development led to the creation of a new political party. A new political party, I mean the Muslims political party, All India Muslim League, was founded in 1906. At the place of Dhaka, Sir Aga Khan, Nawab Mohsin al-Mulk and Nawab Wakar al-Mulk formed a political party named All India Muslim League in December 1906. So the formation of All India Muslim League was due to these two factors. First, the penetration of extremist segment within Indian National Congress, and the second was Partition of Bengal. These two political developments played a pivotal role in the formation of All India Muslim League. These were the founding members, these three members, along with other prominent Muslim leaders. They started their political movement, and the main aims and objectives of All India Muslim League to create, again, like Indian National Congress, to create an atmosphere of harmony and peace. And the Muslims representative created their own political party to represent the Muslims' aspirations, their grievances, and to address the Muslims' need before the British government, because the Hindus propagating their own socio-political interest through Indian National Congress. So the formation of All India Muslim League was the need of the time to represent the grievances of the Muslims. The initiatives of the All India Muslim League, and its first success was the Simla Deputation 1906, in which the Muslims under the presidency of Sir Aga Khan went to meet Lord Minto when he was residing at hotel in Shimla. The deputation, called Simla Deputation, went to meet Lord Minto and presented their political rights. They asked for the right of separate electorate for the Muslims of the subcontinent. What is separate electorate? It means that the Muslim nominee or the Muslim voter shall vote to his Muslim nominee. So the Lord Minto accepted the demand of All India Muslim League. The deputation led by Sir Aga Khan, the deputation contained more than 30 members. So it was a first success of All India Muslim League since its creation. On other side, strikes were continued by the Hindu extremists against the partition of Bengal, but it was a major development to grab and to attain the political rights and political participation of the Muslims of the subcontinent. Again, the acceptance of right of separate electorate was taken as the British policy of divide and rule. The Hindus extremist segment propagated it as the Britishers' divide and rule policy, that again they are facilitating the Muslims community by giving them the rights of separate electorate. The Congress was in favor of joint electorate, where the All India Muslim League representatives wanted separate electorate, because in forthcoming period it might give Muslims communities political participation, and it will ensure the Muslims political rights. So again, it was not accepted by the Congress. After the creation of All India Muslim League, it's very important to discuss its political struggle and dimension of struggle. After 1906 till 1930, All India Muslim League representative struggling to attain socio-political right and political participation, ensuring religious liberty for the Muslims of the subcontinent. But after 1930, although till 1940 the Muslims were struggling to attain their basic rights, but during its political trajectory, the All India Muslim League's annual session, Allama Iqbal gave them the idea of having a kind of separate state within British Empire or after the withdrawal of British Empire. He suggested that the Muslims contiguous provinces or the areas in which the Muslims are living in majority, I mean northwestern India and northeastern India. Allama Iqbal at the annual session of All India Muslim League in Allahabad, he suggested that the demarcation and the amalgamation of these regions or the territories for a sovereign and separate state of the Muslims would be the ultimate solution of present Hindu-Muslims problems. But the Muslims, and especially the representatives of All India Muslim League, didn't take it seriously, although he gave a point. It was an evolutionary period, but the Muslims further spent further 10 years within United India, and the All India Muslim League was struggling to secure religious, political and social rights of the Muslims. The development which we will discuss in our forthcoming lecture, the Congress ministries formed in 1937, these developments led to the Muslims to think differently. So at that time, their devoted leader Muhammad Ali Jinnah joined the Muslim League, and in 1940 the dimension of the struggle of All India Muslim League under the leadership of Muhammad Ali Jinnah was changed. Before 1940, it was struggling to attain socio-political religious rights, political participation of the Muslims of the subcontinent. But after 1940 till 1947, the struggle and the dimension of struggle of All India Muslim League was changed. So it was all about today's lecture. In our part 1 lecture, I have discussed about the formation of Indian National Congress and the Partition of Bengal in 1905, and in between these lectures we have discussed rising communalism within India, the two major communities who were living quite in harmony and peaceful situation before 1857. They started thinking differently, and they considering their socio-political rights on religious lines. The Hindus started Swadeshi movement, the Muslims formed their own political party, and although the Partition of Bengal was annulled in 1911, but it gave rise to Muslim communalism in India. So it was all about today's lecture. I have some relevant questions about all these three political development. The first question is, do you think that the inclusion of extremist faction into the INC, Indian National Congress, affected the ideological basis of the party? And what was the initial success of All India Muslim League after its formation? Elaborate the specific socio-political and economic grounds on which the Partition of Bengal 1905 was it in favor of Muslims or in Hindus? So this was all about Partition of Bengal, formation of All India Muslim League. I hope you will understand the major political development which saw the seed of communalism and which saw the seed of formation of separate Muslims identity. They formed their own political party. They struggled for the attainment of separate electorates for the Muslims, and somehow they remained successful. So it was all about today's lecture. Thank you so very much.